Fredd and Fredd on the Nintendo Switch is a deceptively cute co-op game that wears its adorable penguin protagonists like a fuzzy, cheerful disguise. Underneath lies a core of pure, unsullied challenge that will have you and your co-op partner soaring to exhilarating heights of teamwork, followed by the plummeting despair of yet another fallback to the very beginning. The game's charm is undeniable. The pixel art style pops with a vibrant yet nostalgic feel, and the animations for Fredd and Fredd themselves are bursting with personality. From their determined little waddles to their delightfully floppy jumps, these penguin pals manage to be endearing even as you curse their slow movement speed during a particularly tricky climb. The cheerful soundtrack adds another layer of sweetness, creating a stark contrast to the frustration that inevitably bubbles up during gameplay. It's a masterclass in cognitive dissonance. You'll be wanting to hug these adorable birds even as you contemplate yeeting your Switch controller across the room. Fredd and Fredd's core gameplay revolves around a single ingenious mechanic. You and your co-op partner are permanently tethered together by a rope. This simple concept creates a surprising amount of depth in terms of movement and problem solving. Coordinating jumps, swings, and wall clings as a team becomes a delightful dance of communication and timing. Nail a particularly tricky maneuver and the feeling of accomplishment is truly rewarding. Witness the hilarious physics as your penguin duo gets tangled in the rope, slingshotting each other off cliffs in a fit of adorable rage. Be warned though, this same mechanic can also lead to some spectacular displays of co-op frustration. Expect to hear a symphony of shouts, laughter, and the occasional muttered curse word as you wrestle with the physics and your own teammate to reach that coveted ledge. Fredd and Fredd takes you across a series of increasingly challenging levels, each themed with its own unique charm and set of obstacles. The aptly named Friendly Foothills introduces you to the basic mechanics with gentle slopes and strategically placed platforms. However, don't be fooled by the initial cuteness. Even a minor misstep here can send you tumbling all the way back down. As you progress, things get more interesting and more frustrating. Icy surfaces appear that make precise jumps a gamble, while windy areas throw in gusts of wind that threaten to launch your penguin duo off precarious ledges. Later levels add moving platforms and fiery hazards that require split-second coordination to navigate. Each level feels meticulously crafted to test your communication and mastery of the game's mechanics, offering a constant sense of accomplishment and relief when you finally reach the summit. The game does offer an optional assist mode that includes checkpoints. This is a welcome feature that can significantly reduce frustration, especially for players who are new to the genre or simply prefer a more relaxed experience. While purists may enjoy the classic, all-or-nothing approach, the inclusion of checkpoints ensures Fredd and Fredd remains accessible to a wider audience. The one glaring flaw of a game like this is the limited content. While the core gameplay loop is undeniably fun and the levels themselves are well designed, Fredd and Fredd can feel a bit short. Once you've conquered the snowy mountain peak, there's not a whole lot of replay value to be found. This might be a turnoff for players who crave extensive content or those seeking a long-term challenge. While the game does offer a single-player mode where you can switch control between Fredd or Fredd, it feels like a tacked-on afterthought. The carefully designed co-op mechanics become a clunky hassle when you're trying to manage both penguins by yourself. The difficulty curve skyrockets, transforming the charming challenge into a potentially controller-breaking exercise in penguin wrangling. If you're a lone wolf gamer, Fredd and Fredd is probably best left on the digital shelf. Fredd and Fredd is a challenging, communication-heavy co-op experience that thrives on the joy and occasional agony of teamwork. The adorable presentation and unique mechanics creates a compelling core gameplay loop, but the brutal difficulty ensures this is a niche title. If you're looking for a game to test your friendship and your video game mettle, Fredd and Fredd is a hilarious, rage-inducing roller coaster ride waiting to happen. Just make sure you have a patient and equally determined co-op partner by your side, because this snowy mountain isn't going to conquer itself. Fredd and Fredd earns a 7 out of 10.